Breaking news out of Massachusetts. A bombshell development has just rocked the already controversial case surrounding the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe and the investigation into the possible misconduct of the Canton Police Department. Jessica M. Leslie, a 34-year-old woman from Dracut, Massachusetts, and a former federal grand juror, has agreed to plead guilty to criminal contempt for leaking sealed grand jury information to unauthorized individuals. And the speculation? It's explosive. Many believe this grand jury was tasked with investigating the handling of the Karen Read case, including whether law enforcement officials improperly framed her and covered up the real story behind John O'Keefe's death. But here's where it gets even more serious. Between August 11th, 2022 and March 4th, 2025, Leslie is alleged to have disclosed names of witnesses, the substance of their testimony, and confidential evidence presented to the grand jury. And while federal prosecutors haven't publicly identified which case this was, multiple sources confirm her leaks were linked to the federal investigation into the Karen Read matter. Karen Read was acquitted of second-degree murder earlier this year, but convicted of operating under the influence, receiving probation. Now, with Leslie's guilty plea, the question looms. Was Karen Read leveraging leaked grand jury info to her advantage? And did her close ally, Aidan Kearney, known as Turtleboy, play a deeper role than anyone realized? Federal authorities monitored social media and communications during this time, and although Leslie's plea deal doesn't name who received the leaked info, many are pointing fingers at Turtleboy. His coverage of the case was eerily detailed, often releasing information that had never been discussed in open court. Coincidence? Or was there coordination? We know this. Turtleboy currently faces criminal charges for witness intimidation related to the Karen Read case. And sealed in his court file, according to sources, are hundreds of communications allegedly proving that he and Karen Read coerced witnesses, influencing testimony and building a false counter-narrative. One major example? Lucky, the plow driver. Lucky testified that he saw a Ford Edge parked near where John O'Keefe's body was found. But dashcam and GPS data tell a different story. No such vehicle was ever there that night. He also claimed he had clear visibility all the way to the doorways of each residence. But again, his own dashcam shows he could barely see past the hood of his plow due to heavy snowfall. And guess what? He lied on the stand about the route he took that night, and those lies were exposed frame by frame by the video and GPS trail. So here's the real question. If the Karen Read defense team had access to leaked federal information, did they use it to construct a false defense? Could this be the beginning of federal charges, not just for Turtleboy, but for Karen Read herself? Leslie's plea deal recommends 1 day of time served and 24 months of supervised release, but the consequences of her leak might be far more widespread. Remember, grand jury proceedings are confidential by law, meant to protect witnesses, investigations, and due process. Leslie's leak wasn't just a slip-up. It may have altered the trajectory of a highly publicized case. Some experts believe the leaked content may have shaped blog posts, live streams, and social media campaigns that influenced public opinion, media coverage, and even the strategies used in court. Let's rewind to the federal probe. The focus wasn't just on O'Keefe's death. It was on whether law enforcement, including the Canton Police Department, mishandled the investigation. This included evidence collection failures like using grocery bags and plastic cups to gather blood-soaked snow, using personal cell phones for crime scene photos, and conducting sloppy interviews. These irregularities prompted a deeper dive by federal authorities. In March 2025, Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan confirmed in open court that the federal probe had concluded, based on a closing memorandum issued by the Boston FBI and reviewed by the U.S. Attorney's Office for Massachusetts. This is the official record unless new federal indictments are filed. And now, enter the forensics. FBI retained experts from ARCA determined that John O'Keefe's injuries were inconsistent with being struck by a vehicle. Instead, they were more aligned with a fall onto a curb, brick, or frozen ground. Notably, no injuries on legs, or torso consistent with an SUV strike. No dog DNA was found, just pig DNA, debunking the dog attack theory. Red taillight plastic from Karen's Lexus was found on John's clothing. Digital forensics show her SUV reversed at 24 miles per hour at 12:32 a.m., the exact moment John's Apple Health data stopped tracking movement. The taillight damage was localized and not consistent with a high-speed impact, but experts suggested that John's cocktail glass could have shattered the lens as he fell, creating the serrated edges that scraped his arm. Karen's attorney, David Yannetti, even admitted in court that she bears culpability for the injuries John sustained. He acknowledged that her vehicle and actions caused trauma, but he argued it didn't rise to the level of Redrum. And here's the cliffhanger. If Karen Red or her allies coordinated with Turtleboy, used leaked federal grand jury info, and coerced witnesses, that's conspiracy. That's obstruction of justice. That's a federal crime. So far, only Jessica Leslie has pleaded guilty, but the DOJ might be strategically waiting to see what comes out of Turtleboy's upcoming trial before making its next move. And if the feds convene a new grand jury, they'll be armed with digital communications, texts, and social media activity. If the puzzle pieces come together and show Karen played an active role, a new indictment could be coming. So what does this mean for Karen Reed? What does it mean for Turtleboy? And what exactly was Jessica Leslie's role in shaping one of the most divisive criminal cases in recent Massachusetts history? Stay tuned, because this case, it's far from over. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next in the unraveling of the Karen Reed conspiracy. Because if the walls are closing in, justice may be just beginning.